Hey guys, welcome to this episode of the Ace of Spada podcast, hosted by your boy right here, Anthony Spada. Uh, Today's episode is something that I've shared it plenty of times on this podcast. I've shared it plenty of times on other people's shows. Um, this week is National Suicide Prevention Week. Yes, I know this is a little bit of a rough start for the week, but you know, it it holds a lot within me. This means a lot. Um, if you guys are watching, this room is where my suicide attempt was happening. This very room. Actually, if you're watching, you could see me point to it. That very bed, right there. Um, Back when I was 17, January of my junior year of high school, um, I felt alone. I felt like the world would be better off without me. Um, I went through 6 years of severely being bullied, um, being called many different names: Spadoto, Shrimp, Shorty, Chicken Little. You know, it it adds up, and it took a mental toll on me. I was always that kid that wanted to make other people happy and didn't really look at myself until that moment when I was sitting on that bed in January of junior year with a knife in my hand, about to just end it. Um, and it was sorry. This is really difficult for me to go into. But you know, something told me not to, and I don't know what that power is. I don't know what it is that told me not to do it, but that next day was like it was nothing. It was like everything went back to normal. But it truly wasn't. It took me around 5 years to tell this story. And I hid that pain for so long because I didn't want people to know that we grow up in a society where males are seen as strong and powerful. And if you show a sign of weakness, excuse my language here, but you're a pussy. Um, you know, but coming out with my story was strong and vulnerable, but worth it. It was a very, very difficult time for me when I was in there. I grew up where I just felt like I was worthless. Felt like I was, like I mentioned before, better off without being here. Every single day it was the same routine: go to school, hear the same names, hear the same things being made fun of me, try to ignore it, try to ignore it, try to ignore it, and try to fit in when I truly didn't. And it was really tough being a kid who was 5'5", 110 pounds, 120 soaking wet. It was rough. And there's one thing that I want people to realize when I'm sharing this is You aren't alone. You are strong for asking for help. If people have friends they're concerned about, you should check in with them. No one should be alone within this life, because I want to be here without people who have come into my life. I wouldn't be here without my parents, without my sisters, without some of the friends I made in college. You know, everybody goes through a really difficult point, and for some people, it's just enough is enough. And they could really use that one friend to reach out to them and let them know that everything's going to be okay. Most difficult point, I think a lot of people always ask me is, why did you want to do it? It's really tough to describe when you're not in their shoes. It's really tough to let them know what is happening. It's tough to say it in words what you're going through, because, like I said, we were built in a society where we had to be tough men, which, moments like these are where you become tough. Moments like these are where you become man. But it was just coming from the fact that it was hard for me to reach out to anybody, and that could be blamed on me. One aspect, which, a lot of this is just an issue that's come up within the past few years about men committing suicide. It's more common than people think. It's because we don't want to go to help, and we don't want to ask for help. But I appreciate you, if you're listening to this, to please go ask for help. Or if you are a friend, please reach out to somebody, because you never know who is going to save your life. And, bullying is one of the worst things that could happen to a kid. It takes away childhood. It took away a lot from me, and it's made me who I am today, but it's made some parts of me that I do not like. I'll be the first one to admit I hate getting close to people. It's just, I've seen too many people come into my life thinking I was close, thinking I was friends with them, and then, everything just changes, and their whole personality towards me, their whole way they act towards me changes. So I'm very, very introverted when it comes to relationships and stuff like that. I don't like to express my emotion, which it's pretty tough to right now on this podcast. But it was the most life-changing moment in my life. And a lot of people always say, oh, those people try to commit suicide for sympathy, and it's really not like that. There comes to a point where you see no end, and I didn't see an end. Like I mentioned before on several episodes, if you asked me when I was 17, where would I be at 22 right now? Not here. Not at all. There's more to life than what you may go through in the present moment. There's more to life than those high school years. There's more to life than those people who stay in high school and relive those moments every single day because that's their glory days. I haven't had mine yet, but no, I wish I had some of the people like Mark, like Tom, like Nick, like Leah, like all my teammates, um, all the friends I made. A couple of buddies that I've made, Travis, Will, Brian, Kaplan. These are all my buddies from college. But I wish I had these guys when I was in high school because I think my life would be completely different. But, you know, I want people to know that I want to keep this on the shorter side. I just want people to know that it is okay to feel this way. But it is not okay to, think that this is the end because it's really not. You're going to get through it. But it takes a level of vulnerability to do that. You may not know who to go to. I didn't know who to go to. I didn't know what to do. And that's where my life almost came to an end, right there. Right in that bed, right there. But there's always someone to go through. And people may not notice. It's one thing I've kind of learned through expressing my vulnerability on this is I've gotten messages from kids who I went to high school with, and they said they would have acted if they knew. So never be afraid to express your vulnerability because it allows people in to really help and really be there for you because that's what you need in this moment. What you don't need is just being yourself, being within your thoughts, because those times can be really dark. And when you're in that state, it was really tough to even think about anything positive in that moment. I made the next day, I may show that fake smile that I always showed to brighten someone else's day up because I wanted people to not go through what I was going through, to not have to feel that pain, feel that this is the only way. That's kind of how I lived my life through high school, was just making other people happy so they wouldn't feel that pain that I felt. And like I have repeated, I want you guys to please reach out. One of my friends, I'm not going to name him, but he reached out to us as his roommates. And we had a conversation because he felt worthless and he didn't know what to do. He felt like he truly didn't want to be here. And you know what? We helped him every single way through it. But he took that and he allowed himself to get the help that he needed. And I couldn't be more prouder to call him my friend. Because he made his life worth it there. But I want you guys to, I shared this post the other day on my story and I tagged a few people. I really want you guys to spread some positivity. I want you guys to spread some love connect with someone who you haven't talked with in a little bit. Connect to someone you've had on your mind, because they could be going through something. By a simple "Hey, what's up?" message, it could lead to something extremely, extremely rewarding in a certain. You could be saving someone's life. And that's why I always talk to a bunch of people on Instagram and everything, because you never know how someone's day going. And if you're really positive and you're in a positive state, you have the power to put someone in that state as well. So one thing that I've found recently is that when I'm positive, I have a power. I feel kind of powerful in helping others. So don't be afraid to reach out to someone who you're concerned about, because you're nervous about what their answer is going to be, or you don't know how to handle the situation. I just don't want people to feel alone. I don't want people to be where I was, which is why my DMs are always open. My Instagram is always open. If you want, I've given my number plenty of times. I'll even give you my number. But I want you to know that you're not alone, because I've been through it. And it's been 5 years now since that, almost 6. And I've dealt with self-harm a few times within the past 4 years of college. Not feeling like I belonged. I went through bouts up and down, but never like that. So I wanted to share my story, thinking that I had to belong, thinking I had to play lacrosse, thinking I had to be involved in everything, thinking I had to try to fit in. If that's not you, that's not you. Be fucking you. Because that's going to get you a life that you're going to be happy about. Don't try to conform to what others want you to be, because it's going to lead you down the road that I felt like as well. And no, I really appreciate everybody who's listened. I know I didn't go into massive details about it, but it's a really tough subject to talk about publicly. I've done it multiple times, but it gets tougher and tougher every single time for some reason. Might be because I get nervous about it, get nervous about what people are going to say, nervous about how I'll be judged. But this moment 5 years ago was what has made me who I am today. So I want you guys all to know that you are not alone. You'll have a friend right here who you're listening to, whose Instagram is down in the show notes, that you can just message. I really want to go back to my high school and share this story one day. Because I know some kid in high school is going to go through it every single year. There's plenty of them, thousands. And man, this is tough. Man, sorry, I'm taking a breather, kind of just taking it all in. But no, what I went through is not what you're going through. Everybody's situation's different. It's just be there for people. It's really it. Be a human. Be a fucking kind human. because every single year it's hard to find them. Everybody's turning into negative nillies over here with everything going on. Just spread some positivity, spread some love, because you never know who needs it. I want to say thank you guys for listening to this episode. Sorry, it's a bit short. I wanted to get to the point. I hope you guys listen to Thursday's episode. It's going to be a good one, but for now, reach out to someone. That's all I ask you to do today, is reach out to a friend, reach out to someone you haven't talked to or someone you're worried about, and let them know that it is okay to need help, or it's okay for you to be there and listen. And that's one thing I want people, before I let you go, sorry, this is very raw, very real, but I want people to listen. It's what one thing a lot of people don't do is, I tried to express things, hints throughout it that many people kind of ignored, because I didn't want to fully say how I felt, because I was afraid of getting judged. So listen, because there's words, there's phrases that people say that you can kind of catch on to, and you'll know. But listen, because these people who are going through something that I went through, that's all they want to be. They want to be heard. They want someone to just sit down with them and have a conversation and just listen to them talk about what's going on. Because people, and I'm not saying that teachers and counselors didn't know, but back when I was 17, they kind of just brush it off like it's okay. They brush off bullying like it's okay when it's not. And I know I have some teachers who read this or who listen to this, and they know because they're different people. But there's some counselors and teachers out there who brush off bullying like it's a normal thing. It should not be a normal thing. No kid should ever go through something similar to what I went through, what thousands of other kids have gone through. I would say millions of kids, but it's just, enough is enough. It's time to take that subject more seriously. And I'm glad we're now finally starting to do it. So everybody, I'm going to head out because I'm getting emotional over here, and I don't want to start your day off too negative, but I wanted to be real with you guys because it's a big part of my life. It's a big part of what's made me who I am today. So everybody, thank you this time. Actually, thank you for listening to this episode, and share it with someone who might need it, because there's definitely someone who needs it. So thank you guys for listening to this episode of the Ace of Spada podcast.